Hello, I'm Dr. Stephen McCord. I'm a research scientist at the Global CO2 Initiative, and I'm here today to teach the Introduction to Carbon Management course at Michigan Engineering Professional Education.
My name is Susan Fancy, and I'm the Managing Director of the Global CO2 Initiative and am teaching Introduction to Carbon Management for Michigan Engineering Professional Education.
Carbon management is a whole bunch of activities. These activities fall under one big umbrella where we think about the impact that we have on the environment related to the emission of carbon or the prevention of the emission of carbon. We look at capturing carbon dioxide, transporting carbon dioxide, removing carbon dioxide, and sometimes even using carbon dioxide to make a whole range of different products. So I think really for me it's sort of the chance to talk about how there is a big problem and we're part of the solution, a relatively small part of the solution along with lots of other small parts of the solution. Really it's just a chance for people to get an understanding as to how we can solve some of these hard to decarbonize problems and how we can also fix some of these other issues that we have.
There is a systems level view presented of all of the carbon management solutions, and including the assessment tools. And so that's important. Knowing the range of solutions is not enough. It's really important to understand the tools that one needs to use in order to pick the right solution or solutions for any given situation. For example, we looked at 99 ways to make concrete a few years ago using captured carbon dioxide, and a full half of them were worse than the incumbent material. These are mistakes that we don't want our learners to make. So we would like to empower learners with an understanding of what life cycle assessment is and how to use that tool as a part of an overall suite of understanding approaches. One of the things that makes carbon management so tricky is that carbon dioxide is a colorless, odorless gas. We don't see it, we don't smell it. So if you were driving a car that averaged 20 miles per gallon fuel economy, you are producing 1 pound a mile of CO2. It's a lot that we're contributing. And so this course will give an understanding of the scope of how much CO2 humans are contributing to the Earth's global carbon cycle. She does have one. And how we manage those emissions as a society going forward. When we talk about carbon utilization and carbon removal, carbon utilization is when we use CO2 as a feedstock to make products. Think in terms of other forms of circularity that we're used to. So we recycle paper, we recycle plastics. These are materials we have a lot of. And CO2 is in the same boat. We have a lot of it. And so it makes sense for us to start to use this to make products that we value.
On one hand, what we're trying to do is make products that we use every day that are short life, so we need to find, and they are carbon based, and there's no real way of getting around that. We can't make hydrocarbons for shampoos without carbon. So we need to find an alternative way of, getting that carbon and being able to put it into that molecule. We can't use fossil fuels for this anymore, and some of the other practices we currently use, such as palm oil, are actually pretty, problematic for the environment too. And carbon dioxide provides us with, a really interesting opportunity to turn what is currently something of a problem into something of a solution for that specific part of the issue. The other thing we can think about is both long-term storage of carbon dioxide and utilization at the same time, where we might look at making sort of cements or building materials where we can really lock that carbon dioxide away for 100 years plus, what we would consider permanent, 500 years or more in some cases, in things like building materials. So we could turn carbon dioxide into part of your house, and that could be, part of a more sustainable solution for the future. And we can also sort of, with the removal and the storage aspects of this, deal with some of the ongoing, and readdress some of the balances that we've already, or unbalances that we've already created in the environment. We've put an awful lot of carbon dioxide into the environment over the last 100 years. We're very close to the limit to what we can actually put in there if we want to keep global warming under 2 degrees. What can also help us here is to start to, rewind that clock to a degree, and that's where, removal and storage can be super useful to help buy us a little bit more time. They aren't the whole solution, they're part of the solution.